Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So too we begin embroidery. I'm Shirley Stewart and I am glad that you're here viewing with me. Today I am going to talk about a new hooping system that I have purchased for my brother PR1055X. This is brother's magnetic sash hoop. The main purpose that I have noticed based upon what I've read and seen on YouTube pretty much has been for quilting and borders around quilting. But that's not the only thing that you can use this hoop for. And I'm going to go over it today and show you a little bit of what it can do. So what this is, it is a magnetic hoop. It's a frame and it has 8 strong magnets that goes with it. There are 4 long magnets and 4 short magnets that attach to this frame, and the frame will attach to the machine and does not have to use an arm. I will be taking this over to my machine in a few minutes, but I just wanted to give you a preview of what it looks like when it is not hooped, and also just give you a little tidbit of what I actually purchased it for. This is a tool that also comes with the hoop system that helps you to move the magnets off of the frame so you can put your fabric down. And you actually just kind of lift them up like that and take them off. And this is what comes with it. As I mentioned, 4 long magnets, 4 short magnets, and the tool and the frame itself. So I'm going to take all of these off and just put them back on so you can see exactly how that works. They're pretty strong, but I don't think they're as strong as the Mighty Hoop magnets are, but I don't think Mighty Hoop has a quilting sash frame available. And when I say sash, it's pretty much borders. Now I purchased this mainly because I want to be able to do borders around table runners or tablecloths, or borders around the tail of a skirt or shirt or jacket, anything like that. I did not necessarily get this frame for myself to do quilting because I'm not a quilter. Not to say that I won't do that at some point in time, but currently I do not quilt. But I thought that this would be very useful to use for those things that I just mentioned, such as tablecloth runners. And the reason for that is because it is continuous, the way that you operate this particular system. What it does is that you hoop your fabric or your runner or your tablecloth or your quilt or whatever it is that has a long border, and you embroider in sections, and then you don't have to take it all the way loose anymore. You just take a few of the magnets off and you can pull it down without completely unhooping it, and then go to the next segment of your project. And that is basically how it works. So just let me give you a brief demo without the material on it, and then we'll move over to the embroidery machine to actually do a live demo. But before we do anything else, I just would like to remind you to please, if you're liking the content that I am presenting to you, can you please subscribe, hit the subscribe button, the like button, as well as the notification bell, so you will be notified every time I upload a video. And if you are liking it, put a comment below and share it with your friends and colleagues. I do appreciate that. And I really do encourage that you give me comments so I can have feedback to make sure that I am presenting the content that is of interest to you, and let me know what else that you may be interested in that I have not probably thought of yet. So let me get started on this. So what you do, there are 4 long magnets like this, and it has an arrow on it, and the arrow has to point to the inside, and you put it on, and it kind of is strong like that when there's no fabric in here. Then you put 2 of the short magnets on each side of the long magnet, and they recommend that you start from the inside out. This side here goes towards the machine or attaches to the machine. You do not need your A arm nor your B arm. This attaches directly to the machine, and also it is recommended that you do use your wide table. Now this is for those of us that have the Brother machine, specifically the PR 1050 and 1055X. That's what this particular frame is for. Now they do have similar frames for those that have the Luminaire and the Solaris and those type of single needle machines. They have this particular frame or similar frame for those as well. I'm not 100% sure how far back in the 1000 series that this particular frame will be able to be used on. I do know that it is, this particular frame is for the 1050 and the 1050X. So again, back to this, you put the long magnet on first, and you kind of smooth your fabric, and I'll show you all of this. Then you will put a short magnet on that side and a short magnet on this side with the arrows facing inwards. The next thing that they recommend is that you go from the side, and you're going to go in a motion like this against the fabric and then hook it on like that, and do the same for that side. And then lastly, you come this way and you pull the material out that way, making sure it is as taut as possible, and put the sides and the sides, and you have it hooped. When you want to take it off or pull your fabric down, they recommend that you leave at least 2 magnets attached, because that's the whole purpose of not having to re-hoop. And the machine recognizes that this is the Sash hoop, therefore it is programmed to stay on point, so you'll be able to connect for the next section that is to be embroidered. So I would just take off, I believe I would take off the 2 short ends on the inner hoop, and on the outer hoop, and of course the 2 vertical sides. And then it is loose enough now where you actually will be able to pull the material down without completely unhooping, and then re-hoop again, also making sure that it is taut again, and again, 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 and finally your last hoop. And then start stitching again, and do this continuously as you move down the line with your border. So with that little demo, I am going to go ahead and move over into my embroidery studio, and we are going to go ahead and look at a live demo. Now I have done one little section of a border that I Well, I'll tell you about it when we get there. So let's move over to the machine. Okay, I am now in my studio. It is a very small room, so it's a little congested, and so please overlook that. But we are now looking at my machine, and I wanted to point out something very important regarding the PR 1055X and the magnetic sash hoop. You're going to need to use your wide table that comes with your Brother machine. Now, I have seen comments and posting on Facebook specifically about people not using their table or not even wanting the table and actually trying to sell the table, give it away, or what have you. And I would like to discourage that if at all possible. And the reason being is because it is very beneficial, and as time goes on and you use your machine more, and I'm talking specifically for those of you that are like me, that are new to the machine and most likely probably new to embroidery like I am, with a year or less experience, but you have this wonderful machine and you don't think you're going to need some of the things that came with it, such as your cap driver, your wide table. Some people have gotten Durkee fast frames and things like that. And I just want to discourage you in getting rid of these things too quickly, because as I was mentioning, as time goes on and you become more familiar with your machine, more comfortable with your machine, and learn more and more what your machine is capable of doing, you will realize that the things that came with them are necessary. They're very useful, and they're not inexpensive. So if you get rid of them, then you realize that you need them and you actually have to repurchase them. That's a lot of money that you have basically lost. So again, think about it and keep the things that came with it. So back to the wide table. You need to have your wide table to use with this particular frame. It is recommended because you're dealing with large pieces of fabric for your project, because you're doing tablecloths, you're doing quilts, you're doing runners, you're doing along the back of jackets or skirts or aprons or any of those things that you want to put a border on. Then you need to have that support. And even with the pull-out tubular arm that some people are purchasing, that's not really going to cut it for this particular frame. So before we put the frame on, it is recommended that you pull up your table. So I have my table hooked on, which it does have two slots here and two pegs that go into the slot. And I don't always leave my table here hanging like this. I do sometimes when I know that I'm doing a project where I'm going to have to use it. And I know a lot of people feel uncomfortable because they don't think they can get to their bobbin conveniently, and that is true. It can be inconvenient to get to your bobbin with the table up, but it is possible. You can switch out your bobbin thread with the table up. I've done it numerous of times, and if need be, because your machine is no longer running, it has stopped, you can actually take the table down if you need to, let it down like this, and then get to your bobbin such as this, and change it up or whatever you want to do. And actually, I'm looking at it, I just wanted to check and make sure that I did have a full bobbin, which I do before I actually start doing my demo. So I will put that back in there and we can go from there. But as you can see, I can get to my bobbin, and if I needed to get to my bobbin once the table is up, I have my chair that I have in here, and I'm short enough where I can actually sit down and peep up under the table, reach up under there and switch out the bobbin. Is it inconvenient? Can it be a little clumsy, I guess, for a lack of a better word? Yes, but it is possible to do. So let me raise up the table, and we're going to slide it into place as far back as it will go. Now, let me stabilize my machine so it doesn't move on me. Thought I had done that, but guess I hadn't. So you put it in as far back as it will go. Now, there are two hooks under, two not hooks, but pegs under here, and it's a U-shaped opening as well. And we want to get this into there. So let me see if I can get it in there. Okay. And then I can screw it down. And hopefully I got them in both. And I can lock the table down. So I don't think I have it locked. Maybe I don't have it in there. Okay, there we go. And okay, now I think I got it. I guess I need to kneel down so I can see what I'm doing. Now, I got it on there. So, we have the table that is locked down. And it's not necessary to lock it down because, as you can see, obviously that's the first time I've locked it down. But it can be locked down, and I still don't think I have it locked down, but I'm not going to worry about it because it's not really going to move anyway. So, it's not necessary. But it's on there. So, the next thing we do is put the sash on. So, as I mentioned, move it closer. Hopefully you can see where the arm, the A or the B arm would be. It is not there because we do not need it with this. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this just like I would if it was one of the arms that comes with it. And you do it exactly the same way when you're putting your arms on. And you make sure it's seated well in those pegs. Then you take the screws that you took out. Where am I? You take the screws that you took out when you took your arm off, and you put it in just like you were putting in an arm. So screw in this one. And I use my little screwdriver to tighten this in because we don't want it bouncing around. And then you go ahead and you screw in this one. See if I can. Okay, there we are. And again, I use my little screwdriver tool. I love this little tool. And I tighten that down. So, I'm going to take my magnets off, which I probably should have done that before I put it on here. But they really aren't that hard to take off. I really don't even need the tool most of the time. I've done this without the tool, but can loosen it up. Loosen it up. Now be careful because these are tight magnets and they will clamp down on your hand if you're careless. So be very careful. Like the Mighty Hoops, they will pinch your fingers because it is a magnet. So I'm going to move these off of the table because I'm going to have to put my material, my project on here. So we have all the magnets off and we just have the frame. So now what I did, I just got a little inexpensive beach towel from Walmart just so I can have a long fabric. And I'm going to back this up a little bit so we can see a little better. I actually started a border, a very cute little flip-flop border that I thought was really cute. But I have to tell you, this was my first time actually using this frame yesterday. And I wanted the border closer to the top, but, and I even had the backing and everything for it. And as I was reading the direction, they wanted you to have so much fabric and what have you. And when I got it all hooped and everything, the machine actually came down this far. So I need to figure out how to avoid that. So this is a work in progress. So I just wanted to give you a little demo. So I'm going to start on the other end because I'm going to do just one of the borders that's on the machine, and not a border that is decorative. So you need to know where you want your fabric to be. Now there are markings on the back of this frame that you can use for your guide. So I just wanted to point that out. There are markings on all the way around the frame actually. So that can help you line everything up the way you want it and kind of measure it out. But just for time constraint and everything, I am not going to be doing any type of measuring or anything. But I am going to put it on here and try to put it as close to the back as possible. And the first thing I'm going to do is use one of the long magnets to secure it. Okay, so I am going to, and then make sure that you have that arrow pointing to the inside. That is how you hoop it correctly. So I'm putting the long magnet, the first long magnet on there. Then I'm going to follow that up with a short magnet and then another short magnet on this side. So I have that part hooped up. Now, I would probably have a chair or something to hold all of this up so it wouldn't be draping like that. And so the next thing I do is hoop it all the way around. So I am going to take another long magnet and arrow inside, and you take it and you drag the material towards you to make it tight. And you do the same thing with the short magnet and the last short magnet. So this is the part where you're able to get it as taut as possible, because here I am, I'm starting here and I'm just literally dragging it and putting it there. And then the last long one will go here, and again you want to drag it because you're dragging the fabric to make it taut. And if you can see, it looks pretty taut all the way around and the magnets are on. But like I said, I have not done any measuring or anything, and because this has vertical lines and all of that, it would definitely be a project that would require you to do some precise measurements and what have you if you really want this to come out looking nice and straight and really cute. I just wanted to give you the fundamentals of how to use the sash. So I have chosen a design, And let's see if I can get the camera to look at my LCD panel. Hopefully you can see the design. It's really cute. And I'm going to select this one. And let me see. Oh yeah, let me tell you what the dimensions of this frame is. It is a 14-inch by 7 7/8. So that is the dimension, the outer dimension. And of course, you know that's not going to be exactly what you're going to be able to stitch in the inside, but that is the dimension of the frame. Now they have this particular border 1, 2, and 3, because you're going to do 1, 2, and 3, and then pull it down is the way it is looking from the way that I am understanding it. So let me hit 1, I guess. Set. Let me see how that's set. Next. Then, okay, set, then 3, then set. So let me do 1 set, do 1 set, 2 set, 3 set. So I don't guess that's how that goes. So that's not how that goes. So let me go back to what I was doing. Since I really didn't practice that particular, how to go around and do that, I will have to look at my manual. I'm going to go ahead and do the border that I was using as my example, which makes the most sense. And I was using the flip-flop motif, which was easy to set in, just like a regular border. I go ahead and select it, and it is showing up. It recognizes the sash hoop. The size of this border is 1.56 inches by 9.38 inches. It is going to stitch from the furthest side backwards, and once it's done, it will beep and let me know that it is completed. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and hit yes. And then the next thing that you do is select your colors. And I'm just going to go ahead and randomly select what colors I want for that one, and the color that I want for the other part of it is, I think that was what I did. And then the next one is going to be, I think it was 4. And then the last one is going to be 5. I think I did, or maybe I did that backwards. But anyway, that is done. So my design is already programmed in, and it is supposed to stitch out just like the motif that I showed you earlier. So with no further ado, let's get started. It's going to stitch all 4 flip-flops and then come back and put the colors in just like any regular embroidery, but again, it can be a long running border. And again, I can see how far down that has come on the tile itself. So I will need to figure out how we could get it closer to the edge. If I really wanted it to go closer to the edge, there has to be a way to put this on there that would allow that. So I'm going to go ahead and let this stitch out, and then when it's done, I will show you how you pull it down for the next row. Okay, now this project has been completed, and it is now stitched. I am going to pull it down so we can do the next one. I'm going to take the two ends off. Okay, it has completed its stitching. It's a beautiful border. I love this border. But as I was saying, I didn't get it close to the edge, and I haven't figured out how to do that yet, but I will. So what I want to do now, hopefully we can, you can see it. I'm actually going to, I've taken the magnets off except for the two long ones on the back and the front, and that is supposed to give me the ability to pull this towel down for the next hooping. So let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes. Okay, maybe I need to take the long ones off and leave the short ones on, because I think that's just too much of a grip, it looks like to me. So I'm going to take the long ones off and put the short one back on, and let's see what happens. Okay, I'm able to pull it down now. So didn't quite work out the way I thought it was. I guess I needed to have had the magnets down further, but as you can see, you can pull it, and that was the point that I wanted to make. So that's pulling pretty good. And moving down, put this magnet on backwards. So we're moved down. Now I haven't measured anything, but I think it's down far enough. I think I'm going to pull it down a little bit more. Now going forward with this particular sash, it is going to be important, especially if you're going to do borders on something that's important. You are going to have to do your measurement. I always say you got to do your measurements and everything like that. And I didn't do measurement on this because I'm just trying to figure out how all of this is going to work. So let's re-hoop all of this, see where we are, and do the rest of it. So I'm going to put this other one on here. I am going to do this. I am going to do this, and I am making sure that my arrows are pointing in the inside. And this, and then this. So the next part is re-hooped. I know I don't have my lines straight or anything like this, and this is just a El Cheapo towel that I got from Walmart. So I'm not planning on doing anything special with it. It's just a demo. And the other thing I just want to point out, I don't really have any kind of backing on it. I don't have the water soluble on top, and these stitches are looking really good. That's kind of interesting to me. Maybe because this is not a very thick towel or anything like that, but I was just kind of surprised. So I'm going to get this started for the next because this is a design and not a stippling. It is wanting me to put everything back in again like it's a brand new. So I'm going to go ahead and just assign my colors again like I had them. Hopefully I can remember what they are. And there we go with the next set. So that is sort of how this situation is supposed to work. I am going to play around with this sash and see if I can't do some more research. I did look online, didn't really find a real full demo of how this works. So this is just my interpretation of the usage of this sash. And so I will do some more research on it and see if some of the situations that I have found to be a challenge can be addressed. And let me point out what I think those challenges are. So I'm going to let that go ahead and stitch, and then we will go ahead and kind of go over this a little bit with some of the challenges that I'm experiencing with this project. Okay, as it is stitching in the background that you can hear that second leg of the border is being stitched. What I have found to be a challenge, and what again I'm going to do more research on. I didn't see any information on YouTube anywhere, so I'm not sure if there has been any demos done. But number one, I think, is how to hoop it where it will be as close as possible to the edge for a border, like I was hoping it to be. I noticed that all of the ones that I saw, the design was closer to the inside, just like it is showing up on my demo piece that I'm doing now. And I would definitely want mine on certain situations to be closer to the end, especially if I'm doing a runner, tablecloth, or either the jacket border, any of those things that I'm hoping to be able to do with it. I want it to be closer to the end. And I would definitely have to do my measurements and all of those kinds of things. I do know that it is particularly useful for quilters and quilting and doing the borders. As you notice that since I had not even tried to use the border designs on my PR 1055X, I really did not know how to do it. It wasn't as simple as I thought it would be. I thought it would be intuitive, but apparently it is not. So I have to look at my manual and figure out how that actually is supposed to be programmed. I know there's supposed to be a way where the eye is going to, and I mean the camera eye, is going to know where the next segment of that border is supposed to be if you're doing the quilting border. So I have to figure out how that part is going to work. And the other thing I think that is a challenge is to find out if you indeed can use this to do a wider design and go all the way down. I think that you can, because I'm almost certain I saw that online somewhere, or maybe I dreamed it. I don't know, but I thought that I saw that. But I have got the sash, the magnetic sash frame. I intend to learn how to use it better than what I know how to do with it today. So I will be uploading another video that is going to give you a little bit more information about it, but I just wanted to present it, especially to any of you out there that may be interested in it, and you are quilters or you have a little bit more experience. And if there's anyone that does have experience that has that's viewing this video with this particular hoop, if you will comment on my page and just kind of give me a guidance as to where I need to go to get more information about that, I would be so happy, because I do want to be able to use this particular hoop to the best of my advantage for what I want to do, and also to be able to present the demo that is going to actually do more than what the little snippets that I've seen. What I have seen from Brother has just been one little snippet where they actually do one little run around with the border. They don't tell you how to program the machine for that to happen. They don't tell you how to move it on down the line to get the full border all the way around. None of that information shows up in the little demos that they have online that I've been able to see. So there's a lot of missing elements that I am hoping to be able to capture in my next tutorial in regards to this particular hoop. So hopefully you did get a little information out of this demo. I don't see it as being a failure, because it is working. It does do the border, and it did slide down with the magnet like it's supposed to, and I'll put all the pieces together. So thank you for watching, and again, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and also please comment. That's how I learn how well you like it or how little you like it, what you want, what content you're interested in, what could have been done differently or better. And I know, I already know what could have been better. I just got this hoop a few days ago. This was my first time actually using it, so of course I didn't really have the full experience that I needed, but I wanted to just get it out there so people would know that this particular hoop is available, and you can get in contact with your brother dealer to get the cost that they're selling it for, because as we all know, they all sell them for different prices. You know, we're very much aware of that. So I will not share with you what I've actually paid for it. But check with your brother dealer, find out what they're selling it for. And if you do have a brother dealer that has a trainer in their department, and you're interested in this hoop, see if they'll go ahead and give you some demos and some training on it. I'm going to reach out to my dealer to find out if I can get in some additional information from her as well. So again, thank you for watching, and I will be putting up another video shortly. Believe it or not, I have another hoop that I bought. I got the jumbo hoop. I'm very excited about it. Now that one I have used a little bit. I have a project that I'm working on, and I will be doing a little demo on that one as well very soon. Thank you for watching.